What is going on, fight fans? So this is something I've held close to my chest for so many years, but I've always wanted to see it in a boxing game. And since Esports Boxing Club has been delayed, I'm gonna shoot my shot. That's right, I'm gonna shoot my boxing video game shot, and I'm going to, for free, give everything of what this mechanic would entail and how to pull it off. And maybe we can see this gameplay mechanic implemented into Esports Boxing Club. So without any further ado, this is Edward, and you're watching Boxing Fanatico. All right, before I start this, two things. Number one, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there that are like, no, are you out of your mind? No, I just want the game to come out buggy. I want it to come out glitchy tomorrow. So don't give them anything to make the game take long. Listen, I've already subscribed to the fact that they can come out whenever the game's ready. Once they said that it's not coming out for summer early access, my brain just went into reset mode and went into rest mode in terms of anticipating the game to be released. Release whenever you're ready, however long that takes. I rather, when I really think about it and I sit down and focus on, I rather just have the perfect game or the best possible game than a half-done game simply because they wanted to quench our thirst for a boxing game and just released out of nowhere. I would rather it be perfected as much as possible. So to me, I'm sorry, I'm not in your camp of just release the game. I'm not with you on that. I just want them to release it when it's completed. That's number one. Number two, all these people crying about these new fighter acquisitions. Remember, guys, they're gonna have a seasons system and a DLC system. Just because somebody is announced doesn't mean that they have to be in the game during its release. So it's neither here nor there with the fighter acquisitions. Those fighter acquisitions do not necessarily mean that it is prolonging the game. They probably have a certain amount of fighters that they want in game automatically, and that could already be locked in, and then they're going to work with the other people while the game releases, after the game releases, things like that. Now, Esports Boxing Club, if you're listening, this video is really for you and for the community to give their 2 cents to think, is Boxing Fanatico crazy or is this mechanic revolutionary? All right, here we go. I'm a little nervous saying my mechanic because I don't, like, it's literally been something that I've held on for years as I thought about boxing games being made, and I've always wanted it, but I've never seen it implemented. So it's gonna be a little bit like, what are people gonna say about it? But I don't care. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it. So in boxing, right, one thing that I've never seen replicated is the range tester and also creating offensive traffic, kind of controlling your opponent's head. All of that is done with the extension of your arm. And I've always wanted this in a game, but it was always so difficult to how to actually put it into place. But I'm gonna break down how you can do that. So in boxing, this is done a lot. Left-handed fighters extend their hand. Right-handed fighters extend their hand. They do this to test the range. They do this to create offensive traffic. They do this to control their opponent's movements, especially sometimes when an opponent is coming in for a clinch, they kind of push them away. They use it for so many different tactics, and I think it could be used well and intelligently in Esports Boxing Club if it's implemented. Now, I have my trusty Xbox Elite controller, right? So I took a look at their button mapping that they put in from the most current trailer, where they explain all the buttons. Basically, this button is taken up with being a body punch modifier. This button is the weave modifier. This button is blocking. All these buttons are taken. The buttons are to punch. The analog, you flick it to punch. And then you move obviously here. And of these buttons, we only know the up toggle, which is to toggle for you to be in more free movement and more on your toes and the showboaty style. And then we don't know what these are, right? But for what I want to do, it has to be snappy and available to you all the time, so it can't be a toggle. So this is my proposition to Esports Boxing Club. Maybe do it in part 2, but I hope we could do it in this one. All right. What I'm proposing is that since this is already the punch, that you will click it in and move out to your left for your left hand. Click it in and move out to your right for your right hand. Now, if you click it in and move out, however the distance is and where you move it will determine how far your arm goes out. So what does that mean? If you're clicking it in and putting it just halfway, you're gonna have your hand just go right here. Now this is good for creating a false intention to fully extend your hand, which can create a reaction from your opponent. This is also good to test what your opponent is doing. This is also good to touch your opponent's glove if their glove is up so that you can hold it in place and then come in with a strike. So it's good to paw it out. So if you're against, if a left-handed fighter is against a right-handed fighter, the pawing out or the extending out of the hand is a possibility that they can touch gloves. And you'll see this, and it will show a realistic representation of boxing because this happens all the time in boxing, right? Also, if you pull it out and you move to the right and back again, it should allow you to create a rotation. Now, the reason that I'm saying about this rotation move, because if somebody's extending their arm out, you can rotate, which brings their arm down since it's in a physics system, and then shoot the jab right there as you know that their hand is down. So you can rotate, fake, or rotate, shoot the jab, right? That allows you to offset your opponent who's extending their hand out. And finally, you should be able to angle it up and down. So click in, you can angle up and you can angle down, right? And the reason I'm saying you can angle down, if somebody comes in for a clinch, you can angle it down and move away and you push their heads basically out the way using that system. So they're coming in, you angle, boom. Or you have it up, they come down, you can angle down and push away. So what this mechanic is going to do, one, is going to present a more realistic representation of the sport on screen for people to watch. That's number one. The intelligent players who can read their opponents are going to use it intelligently because there's a risk reward to it. Extending your hand out clears all of this up for you. Clears all of this up for your opponent. Now, you are creating offensive traffic. If you put it out, they can hit the glove. So there's offensive traffic. They're going to have to figure out a way to get on. They're going to have to figure out a way to get inside around this arm. But if they do, if you don't let go, retract, or are smart about it, they can get around and now you have no protection on this side. Nothing to the body's nothing's being protected to the body. Nothing's being protected to the head. So a quick rundown of this. You can extend out. You can click the button in to extend out. If you click the button in and go this way, you extend this hand out. If you click the button in and go that way, you extend this hand out, right? If you click the button in, go out and go like this, you basically go like this, right? You take it out and bring it back in. That way you can smack down a hand. Y'all can paw at each other, smack down a hand. You can time it, boom, hit them, right? Or you can go up or down. You can angle up or angle down. And you can have it out while you're moving. So if you angle down and you push their heads, you can move to your right and get away as they're trying to come in for a clinch or trying to come low, whatever it is. If you see them come low and you time it well and your hand hits their neck or head, you can hit the head and rotate out while moving their body that way. So basically controlling where they're moving, and you have it out and you're moving. This is the dream mechanic that if you watch this channel, I've hinted at that mechanic since forever. In my top 5 things that I want to see, I talked about that, but I didn't dive in detail. Everything we've seen from Esports Boxing Club is amazing. And there's a lot of revolutionary stuff like the the footwork and going into the showboaty foot, loose foot movement. I think if they add this, other than the clinch system, how that's going to look, there will barely be anything missing from it representing what an actual fight looks like on screen. The applications of doing that are astronomical. So many things. Offensive traffic, control the opponent's head, smack down their arm that's being stuck out, jab, come in, jab, extend your arm while it's clicked in, release, throw the jab from that position. There's so many things that can happen because of that. And because the physics system is already applied to your engine, it will work perfectly, but it has to be done by skilled fighters. Obviously, those who aren't skilled may not be comfortable doing it because they're leaving themselves open. But for those who are skilled, you can test the range, come in with a straight, you know what I mean? Or you can paw, come in with a straight as you're holding their hand up. I think it's a very unique and revolutionary tactic. And this is a little bit nerve-wracking, but I want to know what the community thinks about this mechanic and if it's implemented well in the way that I've explained it on the controller. Because you don't have to do it fast, you can be controlled by clicking it in and pushing out, clicking it in and pushing out, right? You can be controlled. It's not fast, so that clicking in system could work, and it doesn't remove your hand from being here. Now, if you're going in, you can release and shoot. It all works by keeping your finger on the thing that is supposed to be for your punching anyways. And it'll be something that makes you, have to use the analog in this situation because you can't use the buttons for that. But it's okay because it's only for the jab location and the straight right location. So let me know what you guys think. Do you want that system? Am I overreaching? And does it make sense to apply in a boxing video game? I think it has a good amount of risk, a good amount of reward, a good amount of detail to warrant, being part of the conversation. So maybe you guys can look into this Esports Boxing Club and Steel City Interactive to see if this is something that could be applied to the game system. I think it will 100% create a more simulation experience and also be something that somebody does not have to do. They don't have to do it. It adds more chess play to the equation. So that's all I have. That is my hidden baby, the gameplay mechanic that I've always wanted to see, but I've never talked about it. Because I kind of didn't want it to put it out there. But I want Esports Boxing Club to have this. And I'm confident that Esports Boxing Club is going to get this game to be as close to what I've always wanted. So they're already making the game. Go ahead, use this idea, hopefully. And then there'll be no doubt in my mind that we'll be seeing literally almost a carbon copy representation of the sport. Of course, depending on how the clinch system works, but almost a carbon copy of the sport in terms of the majority of the things that happen during an engaged combat between one boxer and another. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the description box below. And also, I'm streaming today, like I always do, guys, every Mondays from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. The link to my Twitch is down in the description box below. We hit 2,000 followers. Mind-blowing. Go ahead and hit the follow and make sure to go over at 9 p.m. Eastern time today so we can hang out. We're going to play some Fight Night Round 3, and I want to play with you guys in Creed Rumble Boxing. Does it change? I mean, the AI is too simple. It's too easy to destroy. Maybe it's different when a player can do whatever they want and step back or whatever. So let's see. I want to play against you guys in Creed Rumble Boxing. Hit the follow on the Twitch and meet me at 9 p.m. Eastern tonight. All right, guys, until next time, this is Edward from Boxing Fanatico, and I'm out.